Hello YouTube, my name's Nero and today from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare playing a bit of Team Deathmatch, Ascendance Team Deathmatch, because of course it's in the Ascendance TDM playlist, here on the map Climate, running around the AE4. AE4, man, very fun gun. They updated it in one of the recent updates, making it so it's a little bit better. It's not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but I really have this win and roam kind of mentality when I play Advanced Warfare. It's like, you know what, this game has laser guns. Chances are most other Call of Duty games aren't going to have laser guns. I like using the laser guns, let's do it. You guys have seen a lot of gameplays where I use the EM1. Here we're using the AE4. The OMH, of course, is pretty fun. TAC-19 is kind of a directed energy shotgun. I like the lasers and the directed energy stuff. It's just something I think it's fun to play with around here in Advanced Warfare because it's probably not going to be here forever, to be perfectly honest. I mean, chances are most Call of Duty games aren't going to have lasers and stuff in them. So win in Rome, right? Just start using the lasers and have fun with them while you can. Today we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic here in the Call of Duty community, and it's something that I'm not sure there's necessarily a right answer. I do know that there's two sides, that there's a line that's been drawn between them, and either you're on this side or you're on this side with really no room for any middleman. But I feel as though I can be that middleman because I really don't know if there's necessarily a right answer to this. And that topic is, should Black Ops 3 be available on the Xbox 360 and on the PlayStation 3. So, on one side of this, we have people saying, I've not yet adopted these new consoles, right? That's a lot of money for me, and there's really no reason for me to get a next-gen system because there's not that many great exclusives out there that would warrant me wanting to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. And from one side, I can see that, right? Because if you're a Call of Duty player, right, and I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that some of you out there are strictly Call of Duty players, right? I was there myself for the longest time. In fact, I was there myself. I think during Black Ops 2, like in that time span, that's when I really started to kind of branch out and kind of expand my portfolio when it came to gaming, because before that, man, all I played was Call of Duty just about every single day, right? That's all I did, and I had like 30 plus days of playtime in every single Call of Duty game, not counting zombies, not counting single player, not counting private matches, just 30 days of game time in the actual multiplayer itself in game. Like, I played nothing but Call of Duty for the longest time, and I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that a lot of you guys are in that same boat. Now, let's say you are in that boat and you do only play Call of Duty, but you weren't a giant fan of Call of Duty Ghost and you're not a giant fan of Advanced Warfare. There's no reason for you to get a next-gen system. Chances are, to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of you that are still playing Black Ops 2 and playing it exclusively because, like we know, Black Ops 2 is ridiculously popular. So many people are still playing it that nearly 200,000 people are on that game on individual, not even combined, but individual platforms. Like, there'll be almost 200,000 people playing Black Ops 2 on the Xbox 360 at peak hours on, like, the weekends. It's pretty crazy that many people are still playing Black Ops 2 when there's two other Call of Duty games that have come out since then, right? So let's say you only play Black Ops 2, or it's your favorite Call of Duty game at the moment. Why would you even want to turn on your next-gen system? And especially, why would you want to purchase a quote-unquote next-gen system, even though I think we should start calling it current-gen, because let's face it, guys, the Xbox One and the PS4 have been out for nearly 2 years now. I think we can call it current-gen. Why would you buy these new consoles if you already like Black Ops 2, it's your favorite Call of Duty game, right? And even if you wanted to play Ghost, even if you wanted to play Advanced Warfare, there's also, you know, versions of that game for your system, for your last-gen system. Why would you go ahead and purchase this, right? I think it's understandable that you would not purchase yet these new consoles, especially if you were only a Call of Duty gamer. Now, on the other side of things, there's a lot of people that have adopted these new consoles, right? I was one of them. Of course, I'm a YouTuber and I'm a pretty hardcore gamer, and it's just part of my job, to be perfectly honest, is to play video games and to buy video game accessories, right? That's what we do here on YouTube. So I adopted right away. I got the Xbox One. I got my Day 1 edition and all that jazz, you know, and I've been playing it ever since. You know, I very rarely do I go back to my 360. I rarely turn it on unless I need to record something specific for my YouTube channel, but most of the time I just leave my Xbox One on, right? I really have no reason to go back to my Xbox 360. And even from my perspective, I could see why people would not want to buy these consoles yet, because really I don't use it as much as I thought I would, mainly because there's not a ton of games that have come out for this console that is like, I need to buy this console right now because of this, man. I need to buy this and I need to hop on this bandwagon because this is going to be amazing, right? Basically what we paid for with the Xbox One, at least. I can't speak for the PlayStation guys because I didn't buy a PlayStation, nor am I really a PlayStation guy. I owned a PlayStation 3 for like 2 weeks, you know, like a couple years back, like 2 weeks, and I sold it back because I'm like, I just don't like the console. I don't like the controller. It feels weird to me. I just wasn't a big fan. It was too different. I was more comfortable with the Xbox. That was basically, long story short. But there's no real reason to adopt, right? Basically, what we've done is you're paying money for a graphics upgrade and a way, way, way worse interface. The Xbox 360 interface is so much better, but really all you're paying for is better graphics when it comes to going from a 360 to an Xbox One. That's really what you're paying for. Right, and so I can understand why people would not want to pay for that, especially when there's not that many great games that are coming out that are exclusive to the Xbox One that aren't out on the 360. And same thing goes for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3. But at the exact same time, there's people on the other end of this line that's been drawn in the dirt saying that their games are being held back by the fact that people are not adopting these new consoles, right? And this is something that PC gamers have been complaining about for years now, is the very fact that if you're making games that can run on the Xbox 360 hardware and on the PlayStation 3 hardware, you're making it so your games are being held back. Because face it, guys, those consoles have been out forever and they don't have very good hardware, right? And all credit to the developers, man. All credit to the developers. They have made some amazing looking games that can run ridiculously well on the 360 and on the PlayStation 3, which, keep in mind, have the specs of a very low-end PC. Like, these things have the specs of like a Walmart computer almost. Like, these things are ridiculously weak as compared to like what normal or high-end gaming PCs are like. It's pretty crazy, right? And I've had it when I buy like a PC game, for example, and it just does not work. There's some games out there that are just poorly ported or they're poorly optimized in one way or another, to the point where even with a really expensive system, a ridiculously good rig can't run that thing at 60 frames per second. There's people out there that have like a $3,000 gaming computer that can't run a certain game at 60 frames per second because it was so horribly optimized, right? They've never had that problem on consoles. They've always put them together ridiculously well, especially for Call of Duty. We always get 60 frames per second every single game, and somehow, I don't know how they do it, but they make the next game look better than the last one. You look at the graphics of Call of Duty 4 versus the graphics of Advanced Warfare or Black Ops 2, it's pretty nuts, the difference between those. You're like, how are these both on the exact same system? The 360 and the PlayStation 3 both run these same games, and back in the day, that was the best that people could do. COD 4 was like the pinnacle of first-person shooter gaming, and that was out in 2007, right? And it was like so beautiful. It was like the best-looking game in the world, and it looks like trash now, to be perfectly honest. Red Dead Redemption comes to mind. Amazing-looking game, came out in 2010, looks amazing even on a 360 or a PlayStation 3. It's pretty crazy that you can do that kind of stuff with these systems. But at the exact same time, right, that's because developers have gotten to the point where they can stretch out every last piece of hardware. They can just optimize the games perfectly to work with these systems, right? That's something that they've been able to do. But at the exact same time, they've been holding back what they can really do with their games because they can't fit everything on these systems. A lot of people have been complaining that on the Xbox 360 and on the PlayStation 3, the past couple of Call of Duty games, you can't play Ground War. And for whatever reason, I really don't understand the reasoning behind this, but apparently with all the things that are on the disc and all the things that are going on at once, they've optimized it so perfectly that it can work with 6-on-6, but 9-on-9, for whatever reason, just will not work on the last-gen systems anymore, because they had forever, you know, COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2 even. All of these games, Ground War worked perfectly fine, but for whatever reason, ever since Call of Duty Ghosts came out, they're like, oh, no, we can't have Ground War anymore. We just can't do it. We just can't do it on this hardware anymore. I remember back in the day, back in Call of Duty World at War, that was a long time ago, they actually didn't have any weapon camos in the game, and the reason given was because they had the Gibbs system, which basically allowed you to blow off people's legs and stuff. Like, you would shoot somebody with a double-barrel shotgun. If you shot them in the legs, it would like literally kill them and blow off their legs and stuff. They had to basically trade the camo system for the Gibbs system. You kind of had to pick between the two, and they picked the Gibbs system to go in that game rather than a camo customization system, which was pretty nuts that they end up going along that route, right? You can't fit everything on the 360 and on the PlayStation 3. And if a game were to be developed only for the Xbox One, only for the PlayStation 4, and only for the PC, right, then these games, right, these games would have a lot more to them. They could have a lot of things going on. That's the main argument you're seeing from people that have adopted their consoles already. And as somebody who has had an Xbox One since it came out back in 2013, and I've been playing it once again since 2013, I really don't see a reason to go back to my Xbox 360. I really don't, but at the exact same time, I can tell you from somebody that plays on the Xbox, and this is my own personal opinion, I don't want to get anyone butthurt out there, but this is the way I see it, and I know there's some people that agree with me. The Xbox One, I'm not saying for PlayStation 4, because I can't speak for that, because I don't own a PlayStation 4, nor do I have very much experience with a PlayStation 3. The Xbox One, compared to a 360, is nothing more than better graphics. We paid for better graphics and a way worse interface. Like, one step forward, two steps back is my honest opinion of the Xbox One so far. I hate the interface of the Xbox One. I hate how it's laid out. The only positive that I find about the Xbox One compared to the 360 is the fact that the graphics are better. Literally everything else is a step backwards in my own personal opinion. So I can understand why people would not want to yet adopt these, but at the exact same time, I understand the people that want their games to adapt and they want their games to grow and they want their games to evolve. There's a lot of rumors going around that, of course, Black Ops 3 will in fact be coming out on the last gen systems, on the PlayStation 3, on the Xbox 360, and it's just going to be handled by a different studio, similar to what happened here in Advanced Warfare. And I think I'm okay with that. I think that would probably be the best solution, but it would probably be the very last time we should probably do this. All right, so this is the idea that I think that they should do is they get another studio, High Moon, probably preferably not High Moon, because High Moon has just ridiculously ruined Advanced Warfare for people that play on last-gen systems. They're so late with their updates and just so terrible, and they don't have a face. They're just basically just this anonymous company out there that is just delivering updates so late after everybody else gets them. It's pretty terrible how bad High Moon Studio is at porting over this stuff. At the exact same time, it could be a marketing thing. It could be intentional that they are so bad with updating the game that they are trying to convince people to adopt, buy an Xbox One, buy a PlayStation 4, and then buy their game again on that system. I think it's entirely possible that that's the case, because I just don't understand how hard it can possibly be to port over an update that updates like a challenge and stuff like that, because that's what people are waiting for. People are waiting for months to get an update to challenges. People are waiting so long just for everything on last-gen systems. It's pretty terrible. But if they were to do that again with Treyarch, have Treyarch, of course, make Black Ops 3, and then have some other studio, preferably not High Moon, port over this new Treyarch game, Black Ops 3, of course, and make it so it works on the 360 and works on the PlayStation 3. I think that would be okay. Of course, they would have less features than the people that play on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, but at the exact same time, you're not excluding a lot of your player base. I do feel as though this will be the last time that they will do this. If I had to make a prediction, I predict that Black Ops 3 will be coming out on last-gen systems, but I'm also predicting this will be the last Call of Duty game to come out on last-gen systems, because keep in mind, Microsoft has said they will stop supporting the 360 in 2016. Now, what does that mean? We really don't know. Will they be stopping Xbox Live? Is Xbox Live services, are they going to be shut down and not working anymore for the Xbox 360? We don't know. Is that just meaning that they're going to stop making brand new games for the 360? We don't know. Sony actually came out saying that they would stop supporting the PlayStation 3 in 2015. This year they were going to stop supporting that, but then they later came out and said, as long as there is good business for us here, we're going to continue to support the PlayStation 3, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. There's definitely a giant market for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games and users and hardware and everything else, right? To not support either one of those consoles would be literally leaving money on the table, and right now Sony can't be leaving any money on the table. They're kind of in dire straits as of late. So I do predict that they will be making Black Ops 3 for the Xbox 360 and for the PlayStation 3. I feel as though it's going to go along the same lines, right, as what we had here in Advanced Warfare. They're going to have somebody else pouring it over, and I think that's probably the best thing to do, because I don't think we're going to be losing too much. There's a lot of people on one side saying that the game's being held back because it has to work for them, but keep in mind, it doesn't. The game is not going to be held back. Advanced Warfare has a lot of new things to it, especially with the whole, you have all the customization that we've always had, and then they add even more with the fact that there's like 50 or how many, I don't even know how many weapon variants there are. There's so many weapon variants and supply drops and advanced supply drops and all different kinds of gear, all different kinds of customization. Tons of extra stuff has been added to the game, and it's all great that they can do that, right? It's great that they can continue to add things to the game. And Black Ops 3 is apparently going to be the most innovative and the most crazy Call of Duty ever. That's what they said in their description, right? They said it's going to be the most ambitious Call of Duty game ever. And they can do that, right? They can still do that if they make the game next gen first, and then they have another studio port it over to the PlayStation 3 and port it over to the Xbox 360. It's something that they're probably just going to do that, right? We are going to get a freaking amazing game on current gen systems, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and people on last gen, their game might be slightly worse in one way or another, but at the exact same time, it's like, guys, you kind of got to adapt or die. That's one of the things when it comes to gaming, right? You kind of have to adapt. The Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 have been out for nearly 2 years now. They came out in November of 2013. There is a ton, I repeat, a ton of deals going on Amazon, where for like $350 you can get an Xbox One with a brand new game and a year of Xbox Live and stuff like that. Like all these bundle deals coming together. It's not like these things are $500-$600 each or anything like that. They're actually ridiculously cheap now, and you can purchase these new systems, you can adapt, and you can try getting used to new things. Like I said though, it kind of stinks because the interface, like on the Xbox One at least, is pretty terrible, and it's like you're really not getting an upgrade in that sense, but you are getting an upgrade in terms of graphics, which a lot of people definitely enjoy that. And it's like, man, console transitions, man, they are a pain for a lot of reasons, these console transitions, but it has to happen, right? It has to happen. These are the cards that have been dealt to us, and we have to play them, right? You kind of have to keep adapting when it comes to a brand new console. It doesn't happen overnight, I understand that, and consoles don't happen very often, right? 7 years? Was that how long the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 were out? Was it 7 years? Something along those lines? Like, it was pretty ridiculous how long those consoles were out. Or 8 years, maybe. Didn't they come out in 2005, I want to say? And then 2013 is when the new ones came out. It might have been 8 years. I could be wrong on that, but they come out like once a decade almost, guys. So you're not going to be losing anything if you purchase an next-gen system, right? And I can understand that money's tight for people and stuff like that, but if you do end up saving up the money and you do purchase an next-gen system, that's going to be your system for the next probably 5-6 years or so until they decide to make new ones, which, for my own personal opinion, and I know this may not be a popular opinion, I kind of hope they make new consoles relatively soon. I think that would be just fantastic if they were to go ahead and make new consoles, because I don't think these ones are super powerful. If they can't run every game at full 1080p at full 60 frames per second, it's like, well, why did we even upgrade consoles if we're not even going to go all the way to 1080p, if we're not going to go all the way to 60 frames per second on every single game, right? A lot of games are running at like 900p, and a lot of games are running at 780p or whatever, just random p's apparently, and it's not full 1080p, it's not the full resolution. It's like, so that is the end of my video. This is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Here's a fun fact about this video. I originally chose that AE4 gameplay on Climate because I thought this would be a 6-minute long video. Apparently not. Apparently I am just very long-winded when it comes to talking about things. But go ahead in the comment section below. Give me your opinion as to what you think should be done about Black Ops 3. Should Black Ops 3 be coming out on last-gen systems? And what system do you play on? I think it'd be interesting if people could kind of write their comments in this format. Like, I haven't bought a new console and I think this. Or I have bought a new console and I think this, like that kind of idea, right? Because I know there's a lot of you that own a new system, and there's a lot of you that haven't purchased a new system yet. So go ahead, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and just kind of give some context as to where you're coming from. Don't just be like, I don't think that they should be putting this out on those systems because reasons. Don't just say that. You can go ahead and say that if that's your opinion, but give us some context. Give us some context as to where you're coming from. Are you somebody that has purchased a PlayStation 4? I'd say, do you own a PlayStation 4 and do you play it a ton, or do you own a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4, but you play them both equally? Where are you coming from? Give us some context with your explanation of your opinion. Let us know about that. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.